Yo, what is going on, guys? Got a hilarious video for you here today that a lot of you guys have been sending me, titled "The Joys of Being a Single Woman in Midlife." So this woman right here has decided to make a video talking about her experiences, the joys of being a midlife woman who is single. Now, me personally, I don't know if this woman's age can be considered midlife, but that is what she has decided to call it. A little bit of a spoiler here. I believe this woman has been married 3 times, divorced 3 times. So obviously we are going to be getting some absolute gems here, but let's take a listen as to how happy this woman is, how she is doing, and perhaps we can extract some useful information to learn from. Let's jump in, and don't forget to leave your thoughts and your own comments. Let's take a listen.
Of this video because
Excuse me, let's let her speak the entire thing. Let's jump in.
I'm adding a disclaimer to the beginning of this video because I already know that it's going to piss some people off.
Oh no.
If you are happily married or you're a man and you're getting offended at what I'm saying in this video, please just click off of it and go watch something else. I'm giving real statistics here and I'm speaking my truth and I'm saying what I feel. So I'm not going to say that nobody should get married. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, so let's pause it right here. Anytime you hear somebody say the words, "I am speaking my truth," this basically translates in my mind to they're a liar and they don't understand that truth can be objective. Like, what the hell does this mean? Yeah, guys, I'm out here speaking my truth and my feelings. It's like, okay, well, you could just say you're going to lie to the camera. I mean, that would save us all a lot of time. There is no such thing, in my opinion, as my truth. There's the truth, and then there is not the truth. It's a very black and white concept to me, but apparently a lot of people don't feel the same way, guys. Apparently truth is something that is very subjective. It's found in the soul, apparently. This is news to me.
I'm not going to say that nobody should get married. That's not what I'm saying. If you're going to be offended at somebody saying that women are better off single, then just go someplace else and watch another video and come back later and watch a different one. Go watch one of my other videos. Just skip this one, okay? Thanks.
There's more content.
Hello, friends. You may notice that I'm in a different place this week. I'm going to be pet sitting and house sitting this week, and I'm watching out for a sweet little 17-year-old miniature schnauzer named Gabby. So you'll see me with this background in this week's videos. But anyway, today I wanted to talk about being single in midlife for women, from a women's perspective.
Okay, so she has already hinted what the what she's going to be saying here, which is that apparently women who are single in their midlife, again, don't know if you would call this midlife, but whatever. Apparently women are happier, they're better off being single. Now, me guys, I don't have a dog in the fight, so to speak. I'm not offended by this. I think that this is great news. If you are a woman and you are happier single, I am not here to tell you what to do. I am not your father. If you want to go out there and play the streets at age 50, hey, knock yourself out. I think it's very funny content, so go for it. But apparently, yeah, women are better off single. Now, you might be asking yourself the question, Taylor, why should I give a damn? And my answer is, you probably shouldn't. I mean, women are making these videos, but the thing is, the dudes have already checked out. Oh, we as women, we recognize that marriage doesn't benefit us. Oh no, please don't not marry us. Like the guys will just laugh at this stuff. Let's keep going then.
Being single in midlife for women, from a women's perspective. So let me just throw some statistics at you first. I'll admit that I kind of stole these from Liz Gilbert. If you know Liz Gilbert, she is the author of Eat, Pray, Love. She did a lot of research on marriage and married women versus single women in her research for her book Committed. And I was listening to a podcast with her recently, and she was talking about these statistics, and I made a note. So it's really interesting. Married women don't live as long as single women. Married women have higher rates of depression and anxiety. They have higher rates of addiction and alcoholism. They have higher rates of autoimmune disease. They're more likely to be overweight. They're more likely to commit suicide. and they own less property and have less money than single women.
Okay, so lots of problems here, right? But apparently, guys, these women can't separate these things, okay? I learned back, when I was younger, guys, we had our science classes. One of the first things they would teach you is correlation does not necessarily mean causation. So apparently, guys, this woman would have you believe that if you go out here and you get married to a man, you're going to live immediately, right? You're going to live less of a duration. You're going to own less property. You're going to have more mental issues and things like this. I mean, yeah, how oppressive of us, guys. When women marry us, what we do is we instantaneously rob them of their properties and things like this. Now, women who get married might be less interested in those things, for example, or the dudes might care less about them. But no, we don't care about this. The same thing, there's statistics, by the way, that apparently married men live longer. I've also heard this thing. Do you ever think that maybe women, when they decide to marry the guy who's more of a safer option, who isn't risking his life? But no, it's always like when the woman marries you guys, apparently we just become immediately safer and we immediately live longer. There's no more extra thought to it.
Firstly, married men are happier and healthier than single women in all of the measures of success and well-being. It is the exact opposite for men as it is for women. Therefore, you can conclude that marriage is a lot more beneficial for men than it is for women.
Holy hell, this woman can't be serious. Do you ever consider the fact that maybe the women are looking for more successful men? Like, holy hell. It's almost like when women go out there and they decide that now's a good time to get married, they are looking at a dude's finances and his ability to provide for her. A man does not suddenly become married, right? And then he receives like a 20% bonus to his income. That's not how this works. The women are going out there and they are specifically trying to have long-term committed relationships with the dudes who are successful. Now, that doesn't mean that they're physically attracted to these men, but that's what women are doing. Like, these women just can't separate these two things, guys. It's like, wow, men who are married are more likely to be successful, therefore marriage benefits men. Do you ever consider that maybe the women are just chasing the successful guys? No. It just goes over their head, guys. Just completely one side to the other. Not a clue. It's crazy to me, man. Men, it's like, yeah, men just benefit. You're right. You're totally right, madam. Continue. Sorry about that. Continue.
To conclude that marriage is a lot more beneficial for men than it is for women. This is a phenomenon called the marriage benefit imbalance. In short,
no, it's called delusion.
Marriage is way more beneficial for men than it is for women. And this flies in the face of everything that we have been taught from a young age. Women are programmed to want to be married. We are programmed to think that we won't be happy or we won't be worth or fulfilled, and we won't be worth as much if we stay unmarried.
Okay, so if marriage is not beneficial for you, then as far as I understand from what I can gather from this video, this woman, as far as I know, has been married 3 times, okay? Divorced 3 times as well, I believe. And she's here to convince us, guys, that marriage doesn't benefit women, apparently. And it's just her programming that made her go out here and get married 3 times. Come on. Like, do these women think we're stupid? It's either they think we're stupid, or perhaps they're not the brightest. I don't know. Pick one.
Like most young women, I was programmed to think that I was supposed to get married. So right out of high school, well, a year after high school, I got married, and I had my first son right before I turned 20. I went on to marry 3 times in total and get divorced 3 times.
Oh, this might as well just be a comedy video. So she became a single mother at 20. You know what probably happened? She probably accidentally had this child and then immediately tried to get married. This is something that a lot of women do, right? Is they have the kid, they realize that they're pregnant with the child, and they're like, crap, I don't want to look bad at family functions. We got to get married quick, So then they get married to the guy, and of course it never works out because they didn't want the kid to begin with. The dude maybe didn't have resources. and because he's young and so on and so forth, right? I don't know if that's exactly what happened, but so she became a single mother at 20 years of age, went on to get married 2 more times. Now, her argument here is that marriage doesn't benefit women, but it certainly sounds a lot to me like she was looking for some man to take care of her and her child, as a lot of single mothers do. But let's keep going.
And I thought something was wrong with me for the longest time because I couldn't be happy in a marriage. The truth is, I just am not programmed to be married. I treasure freedom, and I treasure freedom over most anything. My longest marriage only lasted 4 years. Society taught me that happiness came with a ring, a wedding, a marriage, a house, and kids, and a husband. The truth is, women are built biologically to pour into their mates and their children. And men soak up that energy that we pour into them, and they succeed and they're happy. So women become depleted while...
This can't be real, guys. This cannot be real. Yeah, you're right. You know, the dudes, they just sit there. They receive all of this, whatever this happens to be. And men are just benefiting endlessly, right? We're sucking up your life energy. The men aren't doing anything, you know, they're not protecting, they're not providing for you. They're just useless, you know, we're just kind of sitting here and we're soaking up all of this woman's energy, guys. Of course, right? It's not like men protect, provide, and care for their families either. No, guys. We are just sitting here and we reap the benefits. You know, that roof over your head that he provided, that's just, you know, really at the end of the day, that's just you because you're manifesting it, you know? Like, oh, holy hell. But here's the thing, guys. I'm not here to try and change this woman's mind. I'm not here to try and change women's mind in general. If you don't want to get married as a woman, fine. If you don't want to have a relationship, fine. I'm not here to tell people what to do. I'm just here to laugh at the terrible decisions, okay? You know? Don't get the messenger in trouble. I'm just broadcasting the message that's already been put out there. But yeah, if you don't want to do these things, that's totally fine. If you want to enjoy your freedom, as it were, freedom to go around and hook up with random dudes is what it really means, then that's fine. You know, I'm sure a lot of guys, you know, when you were younger, they would have appreciated this service that you've done for the community, I guess. But, you know, I'm not here to change anybody's minds. If you think that women are happier, they're better off single, they're better off unmarried, that's totally fine. If you can find evidence to support that, that is great for you. Do I give a damn? No. Do men give a damn in general? Certainly not.
While men thrive in a marriage. After my first marriage, I kept trying because I thought that was what I was supposed to do. But each time I found myself disappointed and heartbroken. And I always had a sense of relief when things finally ended.
Okay, so here's the thing, guys. This is the theme in every single video, is like, the women will get on here, they will make a series of decisions, voluntarily, by the way. And then their job is to essentially get on camera and convince you that society made them do it. Okay, that somebody else made them do it. It's never like, hey, I was an idiot, I made these decisions. Yes, there were some influences, but at the end of the day, it was completely my fault. You know, you see dudes go out here, and maybe there's like guys who used to simp for women or used to make terrible decisions in relationships. And oftentimes, you know what happens at the end of it? Those guys go, wow, I was a complete dumbass. I shouldn't have done that. You know, yes, I was being pressured to do these things. Yes, I was being manipulated. But at the end of the day, I'm going to take responsibility, and I shouldn't have done the things that I did. It was my own decision, and it was my decision to listen to these people that did not have my best interests at heart. Now, contrast this to a lot of modern women these days, guys. It's like they go out there, they make their series of terrible decisions, and it's never their fault. Not once is it ever their fault. Crazy. Even, I don't know what age this woman is, but even at her age, there's zero accountability whatsoever, which is crazy to me. You know, you know, you've gone this far in life, and yet we are still unable to take accountability for decisions.
Supposed to do. But each time I found myself disappointed and heartbroken. And I always had a sense of relief when things finally ended. I always felt lighter and more optimistic for my future when I was out of a relationship. The unhappiest I've ever been in my life was in a relationship. The most financially depleted I've ever been was after a relationship ended.
It's probably because she lost the provisioning of the guy, I would assume.
Happiest and most financially sound times of my life have been as a single woman. It took a while, but I finally realized that I wanted to be single, and I should have been single all along. I know.
So when she's talking about being, she's financially stable now, her finances are good now that she's single, what is the bet that this woman is receiving something like alimony, or she was at the very least receiving child support and things like this? You see, it's very well and good to sit here and say you're strong and independent, you're better off by yourself, but you're still receiving money from men or the government. You're still receiving money from ex-husbands, ex-baby fathers, okay, or the government. But yeah, tell us more about how your finances are better when you're single. And again, guys, statistically speaking, women are initiating 70+% of the divorces. It goes as high as 90% if they are college, quote unquote, educated. So, oftentimes, let's be real about it, the women are going into these marriages because they're opportunistic, and then they leave because they can continue to extract the man's resources even after the fact. Guys, I have heard some absolute horror stories about people who have gone out there and gotten married, and the dude just gets absolutely scammed. And, that's why dudes don't want to get married. Why in the hell would you?
That I can make plans without running it by anybody. I can, if I have an interest, if I want to try something, invest in myself, do, anything, I don't have to run it by anybody or get anybody's permission. The sense of freedom that comes with being single at this point in my life is just so valuable, so precious to me. Menopause was also a blessing to me because with sex no longer being the focus, I don't feel pressured to keep looking for a mate, and nobody really expects me to. Also, I'm kind of invisible to men, and that makes it easier to.
Yeah, so this is funny, right? So this woman is, again, I don't know what age she is. She hasn't mentioned it on the video. I didn't see a part where she mentioned it. But she's like, well, I'm invisible to men now. It's like, okay, that's nice. You understand that most men have been completely invisible throughout their entire lives from the ages of like all of them. Like dudes have been completely invisible their entire lives, and then women will have like these epiphanies and make these videos and they'll be like, yeah, I'm invisible now. It's like, what do you mean? You should have grandchildren by this point in your life. Now granted, she has a son. I'm not sure what the hell is going on there, but again, she became a single mother after the first marriage, which she had when she was quite young. Which again wouldn't surprise me, by the way, if a lot of these things, as much as this woman has tried to convince us that all of these were inspired by society and society made her make these particular decisions, usually what they are is they're actually opportunistic, and they're done out of a personal need. You need provisioning, you need the man to look after you, and so on and so forth. But yes, she's not, women are not biologically programmed for marriage, apparently. Her words, not mine, or at least paraphrased.
To just stay single and not be bothered. At this point in my life, being single helps me to put all of my energy into things that matter to me, like friendships, creative pursuits, and spirituality. When you look at happiness rankings and studies, here's how the demographics are ranked. Married men are at the top. Married men are the happiest people on earth. Then followed by single women. Third is single men, and at the very bottom, the most unhappy people are married women.
And you know what, guys? I'm not here to dispute this particular list. I don't even know how the list works. If the list is as true as this woman says, then all I can say is, okay, not a problem. Don't get married then. The men do not give a damn. Last I heard, it was something like 6 in 1,000 dudes were willing to get married to these women anyway. So, I'm not here to dispute facts and figures. I don't care enough to pull up all all the articles and go through studies and read them to see what constitutes a valid study and what doesn't, and the particular research methodology that was used and all of this sort of thing. I don't care enough to do it. I'm just here. I'm a commentary channel. I'll bring up the video. I'll give my thoughts on it. And my thoughts on this particular video are that, okay, this is fine. You can believe whatever you want to believe. You are clearly an incredibly happy individual. I'm not here to tell you otherwise. So what's the problem? You know, and I think there's a lot of women out there who try and say the same thing to other women. But you know what I've seen? I have seen a lot of women hit age 35 be convinced by women like this that life is absolutely fantastic without a family, without a committed relationship, or without a marriage or whatever. And those women, from what I have seen, are oftentimes the most sad individuals. Now, I don't know if that is statistically accurate. Again, I don't care enough. But that is just what I've seen. I've seen a lot of women hit age like 35. They realize that they can't have kids anymore, for example. They have no viable eggs left. And they make videos on TikTok crying and things like this. They were like, well, I was sold the idea that I had time and that I was better off single and so on. And they end up making these videos, which are, you know, to people perhaps a little bit more empathetic than myself, probably quite sad to watch. Now, I find them funny because, again, it's the women's own decisions, but it is what it is.
Can resonate with this, leave me a comment. Let me tell you that there's nothing wrong with you if you have found yourself in midlife on your own with no mate. Maybe that's just who you weren't meant to be. Maybe you were just meant to be single, and maybe you have finally figured out that your energy is precious and keeping it to yourself is in your best interest.
Or maybe you're just completely crazy and you were unable to hold a marriage together because you're not a fantastic marriage candidate. You know, we don't ever consider these things. It's always like, yeah, maybe I'm single because that life just wasn't meant for me. There's nothing wrong with you. But again, this is coming from a woman, by the way, who has failed 3 consecutive marriages. She is a single mother for 2 of those particular marriages, and yet she's trying to convince women that, hey, there's nothing wrong with them if they go out there and they screw up 3 marriages. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm not one of these people who considers like marriages that have dissolved to be successful. I saw a video like this from another woman recently, and she was like, yeah, I ended my 10-year marriage, but you know what? I still think that is successful because compared to most people, it's a lot further than they would make it. And I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, since when did a marriage that ends constitute a successful marriage? It's not successful at all. You completely failed at this, right? And, you know, people will fail at these things, and rather than have any level of introspection, it's always like, yeah, society convinced me to, and you know what? I'm like a morally superior person now because I value this. And it's like, no, maybe you were just really bad at it. You know, maybe the dudes didn't, maybe you shouldn't have just left your husband and tried to extract them for resources. Again, it wouldn't surprise me if this woman was receiving alimony or child support and things like this, at least earlier on in her life, while the kid was growing up.
It's okay to find peace, freedom, and growth in a single life. In fact, I think it's possibly ideal for midlife women to be single. It's really a shame that many women feel that they are stuck in bad relationships because of financial reasons.
I have to keep pausing this video because she says so many stupid things back to back. Apparently, guys, women are stuck in relationships for financial reasons. Here is those financial reasons that she's speaking of. If the women leave, then they can't take the dude's resources. You see what I'm saying? Maybe they're not married or something like this, so they're going to have a significantly more difficult time getting the resources out of the dude. But it's not like, you know, men can't leave marriages because they're going to get robbed, okay? Women don't want to leave marriages because they don't want to have to work again. You see the difference there, guys? You see, oh, I have these financial concerns if I was going to leave the relationship. Oh, you mean like actually taking care of yourself and paying your own bills? Oh, what a travesty, guys. What a horrible experience.
They are stuck in bad relationships because of financial reasons when they really just long for freedom and peace and quiet and being alone. I can honestly say I've never been more content than I am right now.
Oh, hell yeah.
At age 55 and single. Being in a relationship a lot of times felt like the loneliest place in the world to me, and being single has been where I have truly found myself and found freedom.
Yeah, guys, she has found herself. Now, okay, so she has some like video cards up here on the screen. We can see what other types of videos she makes. Check this out. Putting yourself first, finding independence and happiness in midlife, mindset makeover, getting up the courage to change your life, how I'm finally making myself a priority in midlife. So let me get this straight. This woman has, I would assume, left 3 marriages consecutively, and now she's talking about making herself a priority. No, no, no. The reason why all of your marriages fail is because you were making yourself a priority the whole damn time. Next one here. Retirement plans are set. I'm quitting the 9-to-5 hustle, guys. You know, she's becoming a full-time, what would you call this? A divorce coach for women? You know, like, I don't know what you would call this. Is she a marriage coach? Is she a divorce coach? Maybe she's like a feminine spiritual healing. I don't know what the hell is going on, guys, but it's funny to me. 3 consecutive failed marriages, decides to become a coach over here on YouTube for women, by the way. Hilarious. Guys, we are going to be ending today's episode there. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.